Hi, right, I'm going to show you how you can use a program called 2D Design to make one of these boxes that we use as a base for a lamp in this project. Okay, so the box is going to be made out of plywood. The plywood measures 5 millimeters thick. The size of the plywood we use is up to you, basically, depending on the design that you create. So I'm going to show you how we do it. I'm going to start a new design, and I'm going to do this from scratch, okay? So when you open a page in 2D Design, it looks like that, and that's an A3 size page. You can see the dots on the page, hopefully. They are 1 centimeter apart. Now, the only thing is we don't use centimeters in DT, we use millimeters. So they're 10 millimeters apart, okay, on the x-axis and the y-axis, okay, so 10 by 10. If you're going to use those dots, you need to make sure that this button here is on. It's called grid lock. When grid lock is on, all these buttons here become more useful. So if you click on the rectangle button and come to the center of your page somewhere, you can drag out and create a little box like that. Okay, that box measures 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 millimeters by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So that's 70 by 70 millimeters. Okay, my next job then, I need to create sides for my box. So I'm going to drag out and I'm going to make some sides to my box that are all the same length, all right? They've got to be identical, so the height there is the same as the width by here. There's my flattened out box. In maths, we call that a net, all right? So there's my flattened out box, a development or a net. Okay, now I need to create some way of making this box slot together. So I'm going to go back over here to my grid, and I'm going to double click on my grid, and I'm going to change the size of the grid to match the thickness of the wood. So it's 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters. Click OK, and you can now see that the grid is smaller. Right, stick on your rectangle button and draw yourself a rectangle that goes there. So it's 2 squares down, so 10 millimeters down, and 10 millimeters up from the bottom. So that one comes out, so the one on the other side has to go in. Make sure the distance is the same. 2 squares, 2 squares. Right, now I'm going to come back to this menu and I'm going to grab my delete button. Hold it down, don't do delete any, do trim. So find the trim button and double click there to delete that line. Same on that one to delete that line. Right, we need to have rectangles like that on both sides. So I'm going to lasso the bit I need there, and I'm going to go over here to my transform window. And in my transform window, I'm looking for the button that says mirror. Click on mirror and make sure you click on repeat because we want both sides. Click OK. Now it's asking you for where the middle line is for your mirror. So just show it a line in the center, and that's now mirrored both sides. Okay, now I'll try and mirror it again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lasso all the bits I want to mirror. And I'm going to go back to my mirror button, make sure it's on repeat still. And now I'm going to show it the line by there. And that's drawn out all my little joints. So I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. And oops daisy, Control Z gets you back one step. But on 2D Design, you can only go back one step. So if you make 2 mistakes, you may have a problem. Right, so there's my box. It's got a way of fixing the corners together. But the base is too small, right? I'm going to grab this bit here and I'm going to pull it over 1 square like that, 5 millimeters. I'm going to grab this side and I'm going to pull this one over 1 square as well. Now I'm going to grab my base and I'm going to make my base 1 square wider. I'm going to make my base 1 square wider this way. So now my box is the right size and should fit together quite neatly. Right, next thing I need a hole in the side of my box for the wire to go through. So the USB cable goes through into the inside of the box. That's all good. Okay, next thing, I'm going to put a little shelf. The little shelf is going to let me support the LED in the center of the box. I need a little space for the shelf to go in, so that's where it's going to fit into a little notch. And I'm going to make another notch like that, exactly the same on this side over here. So you can see how useful the mirror button is. I keep going back to it all the time. 1, 2. That's my other side sorted out. Right, let's do another little trick then. Let's grab this bit and let's make it into the shelf. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to drag it down the bottom here and I'm just going to park it by there, and I'm going to stretch it so it goes that way. So that's the right size shelf. In the middle of the shelf, I need a hole for the LED. So the LED is 5 diameter. So the radius is 2.5, and I'm going to drop that in the middle like that. Okay, so we're getting somewhere now. That looks pretty much like my box as I want it. Some people put the names on the boxes, and if you want to do that, that's quite straightforward. I've been doing names that use a chain line. So if you go on chain line, change the color of the line to red, then you can put your name up here, look, and by just joining together the dots. So if I do my name by here, or I could do my initials, which are M-O. Wait there a second, I can just do that by joining together the dots to create the letters. So that's a bit of fun doing that. Okay, now we need a top for our box. So if the top's going to be the same size as the base, select the base and duplicate it, drag that over here and park it on the side. So now if you can see what I've got 6 main sides. So it's a cuboid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All good. Now this bit here needs to have a slot cut in it directly above where the LED is going to go. So I'm going to draw a little slot that goes kind of by there. The slot there is going to be too wide for the plastic. Be okay for a piece of wood, but not for the plastic. I'm going to zoom in on that bit, and I'm going to go over to this button here called Contour. Now the plastic that we use is 3 millimeters wide, or thick rather. So I'm going to click there, look, and it lets me draw a line 3 millimeters away from the first one. Come back to trim and cut, cut, cut. Okay, if you can see now that line is red, needs to be cut, so it's got to be black. Oh, that leads me on to explaining why we do different colors. So we do different colors because the laser wants to know what to cut and what to engrave. So if it sees a black line, it's going to cut it. If it sees a red line, it's going to engrave it. So engraving, like putting a sort of a line in the surface of something. Right, next thing, I'm drawing the plastic bit now. So I've drawn a circle above there, look, and I'm going to grab all of that and I'm going to copy it. And now I'm going to drag that down here. So that's my plastic bit going to be. And I'm going to delete this top section by here. And I'm going to focus on this bottom bit by here. So I'm going to zoom in to that, like that. And I'm going to go back to my trim button. And I'm going to trim this bit away, this bit away, this bit away, and this bit, and this bit, and that little bit by there. And I've now got my plastic section that I'm going to use for my design. So in the center here, we're going to create a design that in red that's going to be engraved, and you can do whatever you want for that little bit in the middle. So I'll just put a letter on to get you started. So my first name starts with an M. So if I do an M, choose a kind of M that you like by going down the fonts list, find one you like the look of. There's loads of different kinds you can choose from. Like this one, for example, looks quite effective. Click OK. And if I want to use that one on my design, I can click on that M there, go up to where it says fill, no fill, OK, and then change the color of the line to red so it doesn't get cut out, it just gets engraved. Make it bigger if you want to, and make sure it fits in the shape. There you are, there's an M. Okay, there's your design ready to laser cut. And if you can do that on your own, that'll be quite amazing. And let's just check out Mr. Handy Bits. Nope, it's all good. So you've got to make sure you save it because this program does not auto-save. So you go File, Save, call it your name, and then ask me to put it on the memory stick so I can laser cut it out for you. All right, all good. So well done with that.